All right, marvel to mess. From world-class bridges to sinking streets. It's a day that brings out Mumbai's story or irony like no other. A bowstring bridge connecting the coastal road directly to Bandra-Worli Sea Link has been inaugurated. With this bridge, travel time to Bandra is expected to reduce by half. But soon after that, one had a massive pothole, or rather a sinkhole reality check. Look at these visuals in the heart of Mumbai. Outside the iconic Siddhi Vinayak temple. Mumbai has seen some great inaugurations this year, from Atal Setu Bridge to Mumbai Coastal Road, Trans Harbour Sea Link and many more. But there's been huge infrastructural embarrassments. And we are going to look at some of them from this year. First, Atal Setu Bridge. And if we can have that up on our screens, cracks that appear on the Atal Setu within 3 months of its inauguration. 21.8 kilometer long sea bridge, India's longest sea bridge. Project cost, year, date, everything of the inauguration up there. Gokhale Bridge, a 3 to 6 feet gap with Barfiwala Bridge. Gap due to height misalignment. The gaffe surfaces after bridge was unveiled. Project cost, inauguration time, all up on your screens. And then you have the Mumbai Coastal Road. Water drips from tunnel roof just 2 months after the inauguration. 29.2 kilometer long expressway. Project cost, inauguration date, all up on your screen. And then you have Tilak Bridge. The bridge pier cap inched away from apartment. Residents have expressed big distress over construction. Again, further details up on your screen. And don't miss this absolute giant pothole on Prabhadevi Day. It's a sinkhole rather. Road caves in near Siddhi Vinayak temple. 15 to 20 feet pothole on the road. You know what is 15 to 20 feet? I mean, if you look at the 15-20 feet in terms of width, if you have to look at it in terms of my height, it's 3 times my height. So imagine 3 times my height as the depth and the width of the pothole. That's what we're talking about. And the car got stuck in this pothole. Of course, this isn't a recent phenomenon. Mumbai has seen it all across years, decades and governments. From the Elphinstone Road foot overbridge collapse, the terrible stampede, to the Andheri Gokhale Bridge collapse in 2018, to the frequent flooding of Mahim Causeway, especially during monsoon. And then you, of course, have the Eastern Freeway cracks, almost a freeway for cracks and potholes. And there are so many more that are playing out on your screens. I mean, it's a long list. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I'm just giving you a sense of what Mumbai has been going through. It's the election year. And there is a lot that's playing out between Mahayuti and the MBA. In fact, in their respective camps as well. But can Mumbai's tryst with its own destiny change? Well, it's actually not tryst. It's almost like soulmates that weren't meant to be.
बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, लाइन सब तरफ लगता है। सादा बस के लिए भी आप जाएंगे तो लाइन लगाना पड़ेगा। ट्रेन्स लोकल्स बहुत कम है, ट्रेन्स भर भर के जा रहे हैं, लोग गिरते हैं ट्रेन से जाने के बाद। मेट्रो तो मुझे लगता है 10 साल हमने मुंबई में लाने में लेट कर दिया है।
सभी लोग सबर्ब्स में रहते हैं या विरार वगैरह में रहते हैं, तो आप सोच सकते हैं कि कितनी पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट यूज करती होगी। और आप अभी भी देख लीजिए, बहुत से मेगा ब्लॉक्स चल रहे हैं, लोकल ट्रेन्स कैंसिल हो रही है, हार्बर लाइन अभी बहुत दिनों से बंद थी, इश्यूज आ रहे थे।
हर जगह कंस्ट्रक्शन चालू है, पोल्यूशन काफी सारा है, तो बहुत सारी तकलीफें होती है। और यहाँ पे इतनी भीड़ हो गई है एक्चुअली मुंबई में।
Many things which are invisible, just encroachment, inordinate development, building. 70-80% buildings are unauthorized.
Yes, of course, the roads have to be the priority. The roads and the other things are always there. The buses, the trains we have, but then the roads are so bad that so many accidents also usually happen here.
Well, you've heard the voters speak. I'm also being joined at this point by Advocate Sushil Vyas, who's a spokesperson for Shiv Sena, representing Chief Minister Shinde. Pranay Ajmera, who is a leader for NCP, the Sharad Pawar faction, and Shailesh Gandhi, the former CIC. I'm also going to be joined shortly by Lloyd Matthias, who's a technology analyst, and I'm told there's some connectivity issue. Thank you very much to our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. Shailesh Gandhi, to you first. You live in Mumbai. You love Mumbai. I've called Mumbai's destiny not a tryst. I've called Mumbai's destiny soulmates that they were not meant to be. But how do you look at it?
I think what is happening is clear corruption and lack of accountability. Today, civil engineering has advanced so far that we make 50-story buildings and they last. But we can't build roads. It's a shame. This is clearly an issue of corruption, and we don't hold people accountable. I wish somebody were to track and say, what are the last disasters in the last 10 years, or 15 years, or 20 years, and how many people paid for that. We just don't have a system like that. Cases drag on for years and years and years, and people get away. The cost for being corrupt is, risk is negligible, and rewards are tremendous. Unless we change this, this will continue. And every year it will be a subject for TV shows to talk about with no change. If we want to change, we must get accountability. We must ensure that those who are responsible for this are punished. It's a common story that even contractors who get blacklisted open firms in new names and get the same jobs, though their past jobs are very bad. This is the state of affairs we have in Mumbai, and all over the country. Our infrastructure is subject to a lot of corruption, which needs to change, and people must be held to account.
Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, but this is an election year. I mean, the biggest accountability that any government can be held to is with votes. But as voters, is this on your mind? Is this on Mumbai voters' mind? Because if it is on Mumbai voters' mind, then it will be on government's mind. And if it is not on government's mind, it's only because it's not on voters' mind. What would you say to those who say this about Mumbai?
Well, the fact is, various political scenarios have been there. Various political parties have come and gone, and nobody's made any change in the infrastructure shortcomings of Mumbai. Potholes are constant. It's not a one-year phenomena. The last 20 years, I can't remember a year where we did not have huge potholes and very bad roads. This has become constant. So who does one select? At best, one may say, vote the incumbent out, but that's the only thing that the voter is able to do. Beyond this, unless we ensure accountability, unless we ensure that people who are responsible are punished, unless the contractors get punished, unless the officers get punished, this will continue. Voting will not change anything. What choice does the voter have?
Okay, let me take this straight to our political representatives. I request my team, please let me know whenever Lloyd Matthias is in. But to Advocate Sushil Vyas and Pranay Ajmera, Sushil Vyas, to you first. You heard Mr. Shailesh Gandhi speak. Kare to kare kya?
I can't hear you.
Advocate Sushil Vyas, if you can hear me, please. Advocate Sushil Vyas, can you hear me? We just had Mr. Gandhi say right now, kare to kare kya? The voters don't have an option. They will vote a party in, they will vote a party out, but the corruption story is a common lower denominator for all the political parties that form the government.
Hello.
Okay, I think we are having trouble here. We are having technical issues. I'm not very sure what is worse, the crater issue that Mumbai is failing or the technical issue with which we are not able to get responses. But I'm sure ours is a much easier problem to fix. Pranay Ajmera, I'm sure you'll agree to that. But is there anything that you can fix? You may say you're in opposition, but it's not like you've always been in opposition.
See, here before being a leader of an opposition, I am a citizen first. And me and every other person, like a common man like me, are facing n number of problems today, just not in Mumbai, but in the entire Maharashtra. See, what has happened in Maharashtra is for the last some years, elections of the local body councils are due. And there is no public representative as such who can raise their voice before the proper authorities. And it is just the general public who has to go from table to corners to address the grievances and the infrastructure issues. Once we go to the office, the officers, the babus, they are just not in the mood to entertain us. They are too occupied, or they are just they are of the view that they don't want to fix
Why
things.
are they not in
Secondly,
a mood to
ma'am,
entertain? Agar aapke ministers...
Yes.
Here's my question. I like the way you're saying babus are in no mood to entertain. Agar government kadak ho, to kaun se babu na act kare? You know, I'm sorry for the Hindi, but sometimes the Hindi lines sound the best. If the governments are willing to act and tighten their fists, which babu is not going to act? The message is not loud and clear, whether it was under your government or the current government. You heard what Mr. Gandhi said.
स्नेहा जी आपने हिंदी में कहा, मैं भी हिंदी में उत्तर देना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि हिंदी में गुस्सा और अच्छी से निकल के आता है।
नहीं सर, one line is accepted. हमारी audience south में भी है. Let's keep it to English.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll go in English, ma'am. What has happened in layman's language? People are saying on the streets that Vikas pagal ho gaya hai. Today there is too much of unplanned development, ma'am. Cement roads, failed drainage, potholes all over, and there is no one to fix. At the same time, when any civic issue arises and it is gone up to the masses, it is gone up to the officers, the loss is already caused. Unfortunately, in our system, it is some or the other accident that is required to awaken the sleeping babus, the sleeping ministers, and the sleeping authorities who are always there to take credit but lags behind when it is about to take responsibility. Today, it is just not Mumbai, but travel any metro city or the rural sector of Maharashtra and you will find the same problems in each and every corner of the state, ma'am. The reason, it is the government which is run by the
Pranay
contractors.
Ajmera, can I just tell one thing as part of my observation? I totally agree with what you are speaking. But unfortunately, the tone and the tenor is that of a citizen and not of the power that you wield as a political representative. But nonetheless, let me very quickly get in Advocate Sushil Vyas. Advocate Sushil Vyas, Pranay Ajmera has put it all on you. He's talking about the times today. We'll get into the history of Mumbai as well, but Mr. Vyas, look at this pothole. Look at the potholes that are there. What are we even talking about? Look at the embarrassments, the infrastructural mess that's coming in almost after every infrastructure project. This is the taxpayers' money that is being taken granted for. Look at that pothole, sir. I mean, imagine. Mr. Vyas.
Sneha ji, I fully agree with you. This is very unfortunate what you are showing us just outside the Siddhivinayak temple. Today, this is such a huge pothole is there. But it is a matter of investigation and accountability. After investigation, whosoever is responsible for that definitely will be taken to the task and the strict action will be taken. But I do not, with respect, agree with what Ajmera ji says, this government or that government. See, in almost every government, like you said, these kind of things are happening. So, but there should not happen, and proper action and accountability should be fixed. What Shailesh ji said, I fully agree with him. That should be a planned way of development.
Sushil Vyas ji, I'm going to say the same thing that I told to Pranay Ajmera.
so often.
Allow me 30 seconds. I'm going to ask you one more question. Sushil Vyas,
Yeah.
of course you are going to say this is happening with every government. No one government is responsible. But the point is, now Pranay Ajmera may say he's not in government. We'll hold him to account for what has happened. But unfortunately, I can't hold the opposition to account for what's happening in the government now in Maharashtra, in Mumbai. I can hold you to account. My question is, you are sitting on the channel and you are saying accountability must be fixed. You have not come in power just now, na sir? Why has the accountability not been fixed by your government till now? It's the election year, sir. Aren't you worried that this is going to cost you a huge loss of votes, or does it not matter?
Definitely, this will have a effect on our whole prospect. But this thing has happened, so accountability has to be fixed after investigation. That we cannot bypass. Who is responsible for all these things should be decided first, and then the action will be taken. It's not that these things, what these portals of Siddhivinayak temple just in front of the Siddhivinayak temple was erected, that road was erected 2 years back. We came into power about 2.5 years back. So, but we are not blaming anyone. But it was a technical mistake. So one has to come to the conclusion who was responsible for a relevant time, so that things can be, make it in a proper forum. I'm not blaming A government or B government or C government.
Shailesh
See, it is
Gandhi.
unfortunate. That
Shailesh Gandhi, how do you look at the political responses that have come before you right now? You said it's a common trail of corruption. Look at the two responses from the political representatives, one in the government, one in the opposition. The opposition was earlier in the government. As a citizen who travels the length and breadth of Mumbai every single day, how do you look at this response?
I would ask both the political representatives to enlist 10 cases where officers have been made to pay for bad infrastructure development. Political people have paid for their corruption. What we have in India is a Protection of Corruption Act in the name of a Prevention of Corruption Act. Protection of Corruption Act has now become so wide that now, in the last 3-4 years, even if a corruption charge is made against a government officer, it cannot be investigated without sanction. Previously, it used to be only for prosecution. Now, even to investigate, nobody can investigate anything. And our judicial system is, of course, such that the powerful and the corrupt get away dragging cases on for years. Let these two representatives give 10 examples in the last 20 years of people who were dismissed from service or who had to pay for this, and 10 contractors who had to pay for their follies. I doubt if they can name a single one. Let's ask for accountability instead of saying it. This is standard word.
All right.
It will be investigated. It will be then the guilty people will be held to account. Nothing happens, and we accept these words which are meaningless exercises.
Advocate Sushil Vyas, I'll come to you. You can first respond to what Advocate Shailendra Gandhi has, what Mr. Shailendra Gandhi has said. But before you do, I want to ask you one more question. One question. It'll take you exactly 10 seconds to answer. Do you know, sir? I'm sorry to put you in spot, but I'm just generally asking you, do you know by how many percentage the MMRDA's budget has increased over the last 5 years? What percentage? Would you have any idea, a guess?
Budget has been increased.
All right, I'll respond to that.
How many percentage? I'm sorry, I do not know personally about that.
I understand, sir. I will let you know, and I'll let the viewers also know. 400% increase in the allocation. 400% allocation increase in the last 5 years. 400. This is the taxpayers' money going to dogs, quite literally. Advocate Sushil Vyas, do you want to respond to what Mr. Gandhi said?
Yeah. with due respect to Mr. Gandhi, he was holding a very, very responsible post of CIC. He should know how the investigation and how this action accountability has to be fixed. There is a laid down process is laid down. Nobody can bypass the process. Nobody can bypass the procedure which should be adopted in such cases. Now he will agree with me that you can't just blame somebody directly unless you undergo the investigation and there is a procedure. There is some investigation has to be there technically also. So what Mr. Gandhi is expecting from us that you put someone directly, as a responsible person. See, there is a procedure. You can't bypass the procedure as laid down by the law. You will definitely.
So that's what Mr. Gandhi is asking. Sir, that's what Mr. Gandhi is asking.
You know that how procedure has to be followed.
I read out at least 8 to 10 instances just this year. You have been in power for at least 2.5 years. Can you tell us any 2 contractors, any 2 officials? He asked for 10. I'm asking you for 2 that have been banned, action taken against, given a notice, or their contracts cancelled for the rest of the city because so many lapses happened. At least one of them would be recurring. I mean, I'm just asking you as a very, this is not a journalistic question. I'm asking you as an ordinary citizen's voice. And I'll ask the same question to Pranay Ajmera, but to you, Advocate Sushil Vyas. 2 names. I mean, 2 such instances.
Wherever such things has been, brought to our knowledge, the proper investigation has taken place. The contractor concerned and the officer concerned, definitely they will be penalized, and they must have been penalized. So that action has to be taken by the department concerned and the officer concerned of that department. So we are not in that department, or those officers are not directly under us. So definitely action must have been taken. It's not that action is not taken.
The response that you're giving, sir, you are saying action must be taken, must have been taken. Yeah. But there is no facts. Pranay Ajmera, give me 2 instances, 3 instances under your government where there were contractors that were cancelled. Their contracts were cancelled. Officials, babus were held accountable.
Ma'am, we were in government till 2014. From 2014 to 2019, it was the BJP Shiv Sena government in power. 2019, the Mahavikas Aghadi came in power, and as soon as we came into power, COVID struck, and 2 years we did not have any opportunity to work for the people, but to just put our entire concentration on the medical emergency that we were facing globally. You are asking me to take 2 names. I'll take 2 names, ma'am. Sneha, ma'am. One is senior Shiv Sena leader Ramdas Kadam, sir, and second, PWD Minister Mr. Ravindra Chavan, sir. Recently, they had a massive showdown on the condition of roads, that is Goa-Mumbai highway, because of the reason that the roads were in the terrible shape, and the senior leaders of the parties in power were fighting on the streets, were fighting on the TV, were fighting all over the media, and were putting blame on each other. This has been the condition of Maharashtra today, ma'am. It is pathetic. This is because of the reason that they don't
Advocate
want
Sushil
to
Vyas,
take
very quickly, you want to respond to what Pranay Ajmera has said, and then I'll go across to Shailesh Gandhi for his closing remarks.
You asked me to take 2 names. I took 2 names, and I have quoted the recent example, which has recently happened 15-20 days back.
Those are not the 2 names I asked or examples I asked, but nonetheless, Advocate Sushil Vyas, please respond.
Sneha ji, what Pranay is saying is not saying the contractor or the officer concerned, but he's saying the rift between the 2 senior leaders. One is of BJP minister, one is of Shiv Sena senior leader.
That's true.
And they were talking about
that's
the
why I gave you the response, right to respond.
Which is the...
This has been the condition of the entire
That's what
state.
I'm saying. So this is a rift between... Mr. Ajmera, when you were talking, I was not interfering you, please. This is not the way of a debate. We are every day participating in the debate.
Sushil Vyas ji, go ahead.
When you were speaking, I was
not
interfering.
Go ahead, Advocate Sushil Vyas. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So that was a rift between Mr. Ravindra Chavan, who is a PWD minister and in charge of that Konkan area, and Ramdas Kadam, whose son is MLA from that particular area. So there was some differences between these two people about condition of Mumbai-Goa road, so which is pending for the last so many years. It's not that the Mumbai-Goa road is in the bad condition for last 2.5 years, but unfortunately that has to be improved. And immediately when Ramdas Kadam and Ravindra Chavan differences came into the knowledge of the CM, immediately next day CM visited personally to that affected area and given the instruction to the officer concerned to improve how the improvement can be there, and particularly before this Ganpati emergence, the potholes and all that, the CM himself went. So half day he was there. What else? The moment he came to the knowledge of Mr. CM.
No, I understand, sir. I know.
We
I
are
can
trying
hear
to improve the situation.
I can hear
that
the
was about
puja
Bombay,
songs
Goa
in
road.
your house. I think there's a lot of festivities happening. But as I said, this is becoming a match made in heaven or hell is for the voters to decide. But nonetheless, it's definitely soulmates that were not meant to be. Mr. Gandhi, you've heard the political back and forth. You are going to be voting very soon. You know of many people in Mumbai who are going to be voting soon. Can this destiny of Mumbai change? Or are you just ill-fated?
The destiny of Mumbai and of India can change provided we get accountability, provided we punish people who do wrong. We are today in a very peculiar situation. Those who are powerful and with money do not have to pay for their corruption. And in fact, I would also request the media to consider doing this. You report when things go wrong. Pick 5 or 10 such instances and pursue that, and every 3 months or 6 months, figure out what's happened, whether anybody is paying for it or not. If various media were to do this, India can change. It is possible. Let citizens pursue this, but citizens, it's far more difficult. For media, it would be much easier to do this. Pick 5 instances, each channel, each media house, and say we'll pursue this and see when does somebody get punished. And that itself would tell us what is wrong with our system. A system that cannot punish, cannot take accountability. Accountability is a word that we only use, but actually don't implement.
True. All right. I think we'll just end it at this. And we are leaving you with these visuals that are absolutely stark. They are shocking. They are worrying. This is not what Mumbai deserves. And we are, of course, only talking about Mumbai today because every city has its own story. Today is Mumbai's turn. Remember, this is an election year and no better time to fix accountability than an election year. Advocates Sushil Vyas, Pranay Ajmera, Shailesh Gandhi, despite all the differences, one thing that everybody will agree with, Mumbai doesn't deserve this. And these are not cases in exception. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, it's time for a very short break. On the other side, we'll bring you all the latest in big stories.